Now we're going to do something a bit different here with Peter Fury. We've got a big fight coming up. It's a new series we're going to be doing called The Breakdown. And we're going to be talking this time about Anthony Joshua's defense of the unified world heavyweight titles against Oleksandr Usyk. And Peter, the first thing I wanted to ask you is, how do you feel Usyk on paper compares with the resume Anthony Joshua has, so the other people he's fought thus far?
Well, one, you can only beat who's put in front of you. So he's fought some good opposition and he's come through them. So he's had some good fights, Joshua. You know, like I say, you can only beat who's got mandatories, who's got world titles, and he's come through them. But Usyk is, I think Usyk will be the best fighter he's boxed. You know, so this guy is a very good fighter. He's cleaned up in the cruiserweight division. So I highly rate Usyk as a fine boxer. He's like a boxer type fighter. He's a good fighter. I think it's going to be a very good fight, this.
A lot's been made of Usyk's size. He's obviously former undisputed cruiserweight champion, moved up 2 fights ago. He's had Chaz Witherspoon, Derek Chisora so far, not really set the world on fire. What do you make of that kind of conjecture about his size? How important in the heavyweight division is that extra, weight, height, reach, the lot?
I think it can mean something, but, let's get back to, let's look at the likes of Evander Holyfield back in the day when he fought Riddick Bowe and stuff. It just depends on the fighter. I've seen Usyk, I've met Usyk, I've stood next to him. The guy's 6'4". He's not 6 foot or 6'1". He's 6'4". He's as big as most heavyweights, tall-wise. And, I think any heavyweight over 16 stone and 6'4" who's athletic and can box has got enough power there. So if he's put the weight on right, he's had a couple of fights, he's eased into the heavyweight division. And I think the Chisora fight when he had it, look, that's the best Chisora we've seen when he boxed Usyk. We ain't going to see that Chisora ever again. That was the best Chisora. Everybody has, that night, his shape, the way he come in, that was unbelievable. And the pressure he put on Usyk is, I think if it would have been anybody else that night, Chisora would have come out with a victory. So I think he got a good 10 or 12 rounds in, or whatever it was. He's gone back. He's adjusted. He's probably put on another stone of weight since then. So, yeah. So I don't see the weight being a big issue. I think Joshua is a naturally more powerful man. I think he's definitely the bigger puncher for sure. So, but it's just getting it off. And Joshua's just got to take his time, not force anything, and just let his shots flow.
We'll talk tactics a little bit more in a minute. But first of all, you were talking about Usyk earlier, and it sounded like you were a bit of a fan of his, that you liked watching him. What is it you admire most about him and his style?
I just like what the guy's done. He's and I like his boxing style. He's a very good boxer. He's calm. He's got good footwork. And he's a good fighter. You're a fan of any good fighter, aren't you? So there's nothing to be negative about with Usyk. Not me anyway. I don't see any negativities with him. I think he's a fine boxer and he's awkward. And it's all right saying you can do this and do that. When you're in front of people like that with that skill set, and they can see what you're doing even before you get there. So it's awkward.
And what do we like about Joshua? What do you see as his key strengths?
Joshua's improved quite a bit because he's now got a lot more relaxed. He's more patient. He's sitting behind his jab. It's just that the only thing he's ever struggled with for me is that movement. I know he moves around the ring well with his legs and he steps well, but it's like I said, it's just that upper body, that rhythm and movement. But I see it is improving, and it's improved quite a lot, and I expect it's going to improve again. So I think that's the only things he's got to work on. The rest of it, it's all there. He's a fine athlete, isn't he?
So let's talk strategy, starting with the underdog, the challenger, Usyk. If you were in the corner or in the gym what would you be advising him to do in this fight? What should his approach be?
He's just got to. What I'd be saying to him is, for Usyk, he's got to get in, hasn't he? He can't just sit behind Joshua's jab and keep things on the outside, because Joshua's a naturally bigger man. He claimed the centre of the ring, and Usyk's going to have all the work to do. So he's got to negate that. And for Joshua, he's just got to cut the ring off with angles, not going straight ahead. You know, and he's got to use his feints, and he's got to let light shots flow. You know, and he's got to be very busy with the jab, because the jab is the best offsetter in world boxing. You know, it's not a jab for nothing. It's not just a jab. It's what you can do with that jab and what it does to the opponents, the jab. So the jab's got to be used in a very correct fashion for Joshua, and he's got to create angles and be very, very loose, you know, and quick.
And does Usyk need to be able to hurt Joshua to kind of get his respect, or will it be enough just to use his movement and to outbox him moving laterally?
I think both has got the power to hurt each other, for that's the sure. And Usyk will definitely have the punch power to hurt Joshua. So that's if somebody gets it on each one of them clean, you know, there'll be somebody will go down, you know. So that's the situation. He's not a powder puncher, Usyk. He's a very accurate puncher, and when he does find his range, because he puts his feet there first and lets the shots go, you know, it's coming at full power and speed is power and accuracy. So the power's there. So they don't want to be underestimating his power either.
Do you see the massive crowd having any impact? I mean, Usyk's well used to winning on the road. I think most of his best wins have come in the opponent's territory, but Joshua tends to get a bit of extra, you know, impetus from a massive crowd in England. What do you think?
I think it probably always helps, you know, his fighting at home, but I'm not really. You know, I don't think Usyk's going to be bothered about it at all. You know, everybody expects Usyk to lose, so it's one of them. When you're challenging, you know, you got nothing to lose, have you? He's got everything to gain and absolutely nothing to lose, Usyk. So I think he'll operate with that mindset. You know, Joshua, he's got to put all that behind him and just concentrate with a job in hand. But he's been a pro now for quite a long time. He's been a world champion for a long time, so he's been here before as well, hasn't he? Many times.
And now we come to crunch time. It's not far away to fight. We've gone through the tactics and each one's strengths and weaknesses. On the gun to the head, metaphorically speaking, who are you picking and why?
I think it's very close, and it can go either way. It wouldn't surprise me if Usyk comes away with an upset victory. It wouldn't surprise me if Joshua puts his lights out. I'd have to say Joshua's got the edge on the size. If he boxes the right fight, I think Usyk's going to have big problems trying to get in, you know, and negate that distance, you know. So, you know, it depends. If Usyk is headhunting all the time, it's going to be, you know, it's not going to be easy. You know, he needs to go to the body a lot as well and find his range with a jab. So I think it's going to be a chess match. I think that's what I see. But you'd have to edge slightly Joshua because of the size ratio. He's a good combination puncher as well, and in the mid to late rounds, he could catch up with Usyk with the combinations. It only just takes one or two, doesn't it? And you know, start to wobble, and it's good night. You know, it's you see in the early rounds, everybody's on it, they're watching this and that, but as the rounds go on, you know, things start to calm down and the openings appear. What's not appearing early on. In other words, the cracks start to appear as the rounds go on, don't they?
Yeah.
Same with anything, and that's where we'll see. But look, like I say, very, very close, 49% to 50%. You know, that's how I see the fight.
Brilliant, Peter. I can't thank you enough. Perfect person to start this new series, and wish you the very best with Hughie and Savannah, and hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Thank you, Danny, and I look forward to watching these fights, and they're all good. I like these 50-50 fights. that's what we need to be seeing more of. So it's very good for boxing.